small town of Rygar lay silent under the storm. Inside a dimly lit room, 17-year-old Arav sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the flickering bulb above him. He felt like that bulb barely holding on, fighting with the darkness that threatened to swallow everything. Arav had always dreamed big. He wanted to study engineering, build machines that could change lives, and make his struggling mother proud. But life had its own plans. His father had passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness, leaving behind debts, responsibilities, and wounds that never quite healed. His mother worked day and night in a textile factory, earning just enough to keep food on the table, and now the final blow had arrived. Earlier that evening, his school principal had told him gently, "Arav, your scholarship application has been rejected. Without the fee, you cannot appear for the entrance coaching classes." The words echoed in his mind, louder than the thunder outside. Another dream slipping away. He clenched his fists. Why does this always happen to us? Why is life so unfair? He looked at the small table beside him. On it lay his engineering dream book, pages filled with sketches, formulas, ideas, and visions of machines powered by solar energy, his inspiration, his passion, and today it felt like nothing but dust. He closed his eyes and let the darkness inside him grow. A knock in the night. Just then there was a soft knock on his door. "Arav, beta, are you awake?" His mother's tired voice called. He quickly wiped his eyes. "Yes, Ma, come in." She entered holding a small lantern because the electricity had gone again. The light danced around the room, making the shadows move. She looked at him closely. "You've been very quiet today. What happened?" Arav hesitated but finally said, "Ma, I lost the scholarship. I can't join the coaching. I won't be able to prepare properly. Everyone else has tutors and resources. I only have dreams, and dreams don't pay fees." His mother sat beside him, placed the lantern on the floor, and held his hands. "Arav," she said softly, "dark times come to everyone, but you must remember, your eyes decide what you see. You can look at the darkness, or you can look for the light." Arav shook his head. "What light, Ma? There's nothing." She squeezed his hand. "There is always something, sometimes small, sometimes just a spark, but that spark is enough to change everything." He didn't fully understand, but her words planted a seed. The challenge begins. The next morning, when the storm had finally passed, Arav biked to the local library. It was old, dusty, and rarely visited by students, but it had something valuable: peace. He sat at his favorite corner and opened his engineering books. If he couldn't afford coaching, he would teach himself, alone. But self-study was not easy. Some topics were confusing. Some formulas refused to make sense. Sometimes he would stare at the same page for an hour, frustration boiling inside him. He felt like quitting many times, but every time he closed his eyes, his mother's words came back. Even in the darkest times, choose to see the light. So he tried to find small lights. La librarian, an elderly man named Mr. Kapoor, who noticed Arav studying alone and began to guide him. Online videos he watched late at night, using slow data but unlimited determination. The satisfaction of solving one difficult problem after struggling for hours. The confidence that grew little by little. Arav wasn't moving fast, but he was moving forward, and that mattered. A special visitor. One evening, as Arav was leaving the library, he heard someone call, "Young man." It was Mr. Kapoor. "You remind me of myself when I was your age," he said. "You work hard, you ask the right questions, and you don't give up. I have something for you." He handed Arav a small box. Inside was a scientific calculator, new, shining, expensive. Arav shook his head. "Sir, I can't afford this." "You don't need to pay anything," Mr. Kapoor said with a smile. "Consider it an investment. I believe you will become something great." Arav felt tears prick his eyes. He whispered, "Thank you, sir. I won't disappoint you." And that night he studied harder than ever before. Failure knocks again. But life wasn't done testing him. A month later, his mother fell seriously ill. The doctor said she needed rest and medicine. Hospital bills piled up. Work stopped. Money disappeared like water through fingers. Arav was forced to work part-time at a mechanic shop to support the household. His study time shrank. Exhaustion grew. His dreams seemed far away again. One night, as he sat outside the house staring at the stars, he whispered angrily, "Why does every light in my life go out?" His neighbor, an old woman named Amma, overheard him. She came and sat beside him. "My child," she said gently, "the stars you're looking at, they shine brightest when the sky is darkest." Arav looked at her. "You are the star," she said. "Your darkness doesn't matter." Her words hit him hard. He decided something that night. No matter what happened, he would not stop studying, even if it meant studying at the mechanic shop during breaks, even if it meant sleeping only a few hours, even if it meant fighting exhaustion and fear. He would not quit. The final lap. Months passed. Exams were near. Arav woke every day before dawn, studied for 2 hours, worked at the shop, returned home, studied again, slept late, and repeated the cycle. His body was tired, but his mind was sharper than ever. One evening, his mother called him. She looked healthier now. "Arav, I know what you have been doing. I know how hard you're working." And I want you to remember something. What, Ma? She held his face in her hands. You are stronger than your problems, and the light you're looking for, it's inside you. He felt something shift within him, a spark, a fire. Exam day. The exam hall was filled with nervous students. Arav sat quietly, breathing deeply. When the paper arrived, he stared at it for a moment. He didn't see questions. He saw Ron home piss, his mother working late into the night, Mr. Kapoor's proud smile, Amma's wisdom, his own journey through storms, darkness, and struggle. He picked up his pen. The exam was tough, but Arav was tougher. When he walked out of the hall, he felt light, not because he knew he topped, but because he had given everything he had, and that was enough. The results. A month later, the results were announced. Arav's hands shook as he scrolled through the list on his cracked phone screen. Rank 87. He blinked. Rank 87. He stared again. He had qualified for one of the top engineering institutes in the country. He sat down on the ground, overwhelmed. His dream, his impossible dream, was now real. His mother cried tears of joy, hugging him tightly. You did it, Beta, she whispered. You found the light. Arav smiled, tears streaming down his face. No, Ma, the light found me. Every time I chose hope over fear, effort over excuses, courage over quitting, the light grew. Epilogue. The light continues. Years later, Arav became a successful engineer, designing low-cost solar-powered devices for rural communities. He returned to Rygar and set up free coaching classes for students who couldn't afford tuition, just like him. Whenever students asked him for advice, he told them the same thing his journey had taught him. Darkness is not your enemy, it's your test, because only in darkness do you learn how bright you can shine. And then he would add, even in the darkest times, choose to see the light, because that choice can change your entire life. If you want, I can also write